everybody's trying to find out what's really happened.
Okay, well, I'm getting there as fast as I can for a minute.
Have you seen the video that they released?
I did, but here's the problem. They're not telling the truth as you're watching it. Because what happened was that I was going to go home, and then one of my friends who was supposed to go do the video couldn't go, and I couldn't leave the little girl, and I went to take pictures of them. That's why I went.
Right.
So we were set up. They had an ambush set up for us. Absolutely. And they set it in the place, the most perfect place. I was on the phone and texting right before that area, and it was the only place that had absolutely no cell service.
Right. They had clearly been planning this, and they clearly also had somebody inside because they knew your guys' plans down to the T.
Well, they did because it was that Mark. Mark did it. I believe it was Mark who set us up.
Well,
he's only been there for a couple of days. Tell me how come he's out and nobody else is. And he was in the van with us, and we got pulled over. He's the one that was pushing us all to go together at the same time. We were saying no, we had to send other people ahead, and then the next ones, you know, and whatever. And so we were kind of in that together. So they knew. And so when we came up, we came through that. We came first, and we know the people that came. And I was in the back with Victoria and Brian Bundy.
Right.
And Ryan Payne was in the front, and LaVoy was driving that one. And then Mark was driving the one with the Aaron and Buddha.
Right.
And so as we came through that, we noticed the vehicles. And they said, wow, did you see all the vehicles? And I could see them around the side corners, you know, because I'm in the back seat and I have the camera show on, so I can't see a whole bunch. But I saw the vehicles.
Right.
And then they could see them gaining up on us, and then we looked back and Chief was stopping. You know, so they flipped their lights on, and the boy said, look, now we're going to beat the sheriff, you know. So he's heading out. And Brian Payne's telling him, no, dude, you need to slow down. You know, he said, slow down, right? They're going to, you know, they're gaining on us. You better just slow down. So finally he talks LaVoy into slowing down, kind of pulling over, okay? But
when LaVoy said he was going to go meet the sheriff, you mean the sheriff of Grant County, or is that at that meeting? Okay.
Grant County, that was the meeting, okay?
Okay.
So he reaches out. So Ryan Payne, you know, they pull up kind of behind us, and Ryan Payne rolls down his window, and he puts both his hands out the window, and they shoot at him, and they hit the rear bell. I thought they hit his wrist, okay? Because he has that bracelet thing on, and I thought they hit him and jerked his hands back in. Oh my God! Because he had his hands out with his weapon. That was not good.
Wow.
And so then finally, the boy's going to take off, and Ryan says, no, and so he jumped out of the car. So Victoria says, I'm not getting out. And I'm going, I'm not getting out. They're shooting at us.
Why did Ryan jump out if they were shooting at him?
Well, I don't know, because I guess he wanted him to, because he thinks he's giving business or something, you know, and that's why he got out.
Right.
And then they took him immediately and arrested him. Came out, arrested him. Yeah.
Wow.
And so then, LaVoy says, they said something about what the women that was, and that's why he's stalling. He says, you can get out if you want to, well, you know, couldn't really, the door was locked, but I could have made him, except for Victoria said, I'm not getting out, and I'm not about to leave her, you know.
Right.
My mother instincts kick in.
Well, and she didn't want to get.
She's 18 years old, apparently.
She's not wanting to get out because she was afraid?
Oh, yeah. And so she said, I'm not getting out. And so he just said he did again, so we slid down to the floor. I said, how far do you think you can make it, LaVoy, without them shooting out your tires? And he was yelling at them at that time, too, by the way. He was yelling at us, we're going to see the sheriff, we're going to see the sheriff. And so when we got down there, and we were down low, and they're yelling, video this, so my video came on. And that's when we started, all I know is he gets to the roadblock, and he tries to go around it. I remember we were talking down.
Do you know he was trying to go around it? See, one of the things I noticed is that he stepped on the brakes. So he must have been going pretty fast, but I couldn't tell if he was trying to stop and just couldn't stop in time, or if he was actually trying to go around it.
Well, he did hit the brakes. That's true. He did hit the brakes. Because I remember we kind of slid through that snow, and he had to stop. So James was stopping at the snowbank because he was trying to get around him. And I guess he was going around. I'm sure he was. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't really know. I just know he was swerving around that side, and then we hit the brakes, and we slid right up into the ice.
Right.
And there was sweat flying everywhere. And then the bullets started flying, and he screamed out the window, okay?
Now, bullets started flying. You're talking.
Go ahead and shoot me. Okay, we're going to see the sheriff. And he goes, go ahead and shoot me. And then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And then we can hear all the shots that are going off. And they're shooting, not just him, they're shooting our windows out. They're shooting everything. We can't get out of the vehicle. There's bullets, there's everything whizzing. Okay? We can't get out. There are lasers all over us. Ryan gets hit in the shoulder. We have lasers all over us. On the mirrors, on the glass, on our knees, on the, and we are just cowering down as low as we can get. I got her head shoved down as low as I can. And Ryan's down to the floor. And we're trying to keep down as low as we can. And the bullets don't quit. They just keep going. And they're both screaming. They killed LaVoy. They watched it get shot. Okay. And then you'll hear us where the screaming, stop, and she's yelling, I'm an EMT, I can help him, she's screaming, stop, and she's trying to get over to the window, but the bullets keep coming. I run by that passenger door, and the glass is up, and they keep hitting that window, and we are praying, her and I are just praying out loud, okay, and as hard as we can, and the bullets are bouncing off the window. They didn't break that window, they were breaking all the other windows. They didn't break that window.
That's weird.
And they're shooting in gas, bomb things. And so they're gassing us. And so I had that down jacket on, and her and I had our nose in the jacket, in my jacket, and I'm just trying to keep her down,
Yeah.
And then finally, because they weren't letting up, that's when we started so those ran in, and they finally lasted, and they heard us for, 5-10 minutes, and still, after he was already dead, and they were still shooting. They planned to kill us all. Just evidence. So finally they said, and then they get on the bullhorn and sent the mail out, which was Ryan, and he got out, and of course they died and maybe walked backwards and took him, and then she got gets out, and then they came, and then I had to leave the camera and my phone, because I had to get my hands up and climb out, and they put us on the ground and put handcuffs on us, and then they continued to shoot the truck. They said, is there anybody else in the truck? As we're walking away from them, we said, no, there's nobody in there. I said, absolutely nobody is still in the truck. Okay, we get away from it, and they just opened fire and keep blowing holes, and they broke the window where I was sitting.
Weird.
Yeah, and it was evidence that they had every intention of killing us. They didn't want us to.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
And we said, you murdered him in cold blood. When we get there, see, as I watched that video, FBI video, I can see what he's doing. He comes out of the truck. He has his hands up. My guess is they shot him in the leg, okay? Because you can hear the shooting. They shoot him in the leg. Or I don't even know how many times they shot him, but I know I'm almost positive he came bulletproof vest up, okay? And the big one, but he's stumbling through the snow, and they shoot him, and he turns back when he's coming back to the truck.
Yeah.
And the one that finishes him off is a long rifle over to the side, sniper. He's not 50 feet from him.
Yeah.
And blows him away. And then so he falls backwards into the snow. He does not have a gun in his hand. He is dead. When he gets out his hand, his left hand is still laid out. His right hand is halfway to his chest, and he, like it was up. But he has no weapon in his hand. He never uses his gun. He just kept saying, go ahead and shoot me, And they lambasted him. And even after his death, they shot him. It was a nightmare. And I said to the girl, to Victoria, and we said to you guys murdered him. You murdered him in cold blood. You're a bunch of murderers, killers,
Do you believe?
Why did you do that? I didn't do it. Yeah, sure he did. We could see all the guys standing behind the tree. Some of them had those little binocular things on their hats,
Yeah.
They were a bunch of snipers. They were just the killers. It was unreal. And so then she said, I said to her, you just witnessed something you'll never forget for the rest of your life. And whoever gets out of there, so if you get out of this, you are to tell everybody you see. She said, I will. I said, tell them the truth. Tell them what really happened, And,
are you sure? Do you know? When the FBI said that there was a gun, they said there was a gun in LaVoy's inside coat pocket. Do you know if that's true or not?
I saw him laying on the ground. He never reached for his inside pocket, nothing. He had a pistol strapped to his hip. Why in the hell would he reach inside for a gun?
You mean when they shot him, he had that pistol that he normally carries? Because I heard...
He wasn't wearing anyway. He did not have a gun. of them up there, all behind the trees there. Snipers.
Did he say anything to you before he got out? Did he say anything to you girls before he jumped out?
No, he was yelling at them.
And what was he yelling?
He was yelling, okay, he said, just shoot me, shoot me, shoot me. That's all he said.
Because he...
And they did. He was yelling at them. He had his hands up and he was yelling at them.
It sounds...
And they did.
It sounds to me like he saw that it was obvious they were out for blood, and he was trying to get away so they could get it over with, maybe to protect you guys. I mean, that's speculation, but that's what it sounded like.
I don't know. Maybe, and that maybe was his thinking. I don't know. But he was damn determined that we were going to get to the sheriff, and when he saw it wasn't going to happen, maybe that's what I don't know. I can't tell you what he was thinking.
Wow.
But it was heartbreaking.
Now, after that happened, did you get a chance to talk to anybody? I mean, that Mark fellow says that he talked to you and that you told him.
We did, because here's what happened. They put us in the van, and went out and picked up everybody. So we had all of us in the van. We put in first. And then they picked up the other guys as we went down the road where they were stopped and put them in the van. Mark was sitting in front of us. He was a jackass. Let me tell you something. There's this poor girl. We just saw a murder in front of us. We were sitting in the back of that truck, the back of that van, and we were singing hymns. I'm trying to keep her calm down, okay? And we are singing hymns and loud as shit. And praying. And I said, all right.
It's okay.
Anyways, we pick up Mark, and he starts yelling, shut her mouth. We all turned on him and said, knock it off. She's a young girl, you know. I said, she has to deal with this. You knock it off.
Right.
And he kept just coming down on her. And then they take us, and he looks back and he says, I hope my Jeep is still there. And he looks back and I said, yeah, your Jeep's there. Which is it more than willing to explain his Jeep cost $60,000 rather than that.
LaVoy's dead, and he's talking about good thing his Jeep is still there.
Right. And so, what happened? We were telling him what happened. He wasn't there. He didn't see it. They didn't have crap. They didn't even know. We went around the fan before they saw him. So he doesn't even know what he's talking about. So and I did tell him what happened. We told him what happened. But, you know, he wasn't there. He didn't see it.
Right.
So then we get down to, so then we all get in the vehicle and we take off. And then, we did take off. We were there for a long time. Hours. They left us there for hours. And they brought in all these guys. It was getting dark now. And they were I'm sure they were trying to figure out what the hell they were going to charge us with now. Because they didn't know what they had. Nothing to charge us on.
Yeah, I know.
Are we under arrest? And they said, no, you're just detained. We're just detained. We're not under arrest. We're just detained. And so we're sitting there for hours.
Jeez.
And then they finally get us in the thing. And they sent the ambulance. This Ryan, the guy, got hit in the shoulder. So they had the ambulance and they worked on him. And then we all go to town and they take him to the hospital. And we all circle in to the hospital. They dropped him off. We go, okay, that's why they're staying in the hospital. So they get put us in jail in the hospital. That's how it happened. Swung back around and out of Cyber and to a rest stop where all of these SUVs show up. And they split us up and they put us all in these different vehicles, okay? When they put one in each vehicle, and then they send us off. And I kept saying, where's the go? You know? And finally, we didn't see what happened, but one of the cars turned off and went back into jail, like off the road. And so we didn't know. And we were driving 80 miles an hour all the way out here for hours, all the way to Portland. 80 miles an hour in a caravan. And they stopped in one spot and picked up Sam Kelly. Because they had him in a different vehicle. They put him in a vehicle, and one other person, I couldn't see who it was at that time. But anyway, so then we got in the vehicle and we came out here and they put us in, and when we found out there was no mark, okay? Why wasn't Mark taken out here? Why does he have his Jeep back? Why is he on Facebook? Why the hell is he out there like this? You know,
right.
We don't have any idea what's going on.
Right. He was the first one to get a story out because they let him go.
Of course he was, because he's telling lies.
Wow.
He didn't tell the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know he wasn't even there. He's trying to cover himself. He's the one that pushed us to go together.
Wow.
He was the one that was in the hurry.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty bad. In fact, we know that we're sure that he set us
Wow.
They knew exactly when we were coming in, too. And I was on the phone until we hit that area, and then the cell phones went dead. We couldn't call anybody. We couldn't get any. I was just off the phone right before that, texting and calling. And then all of a sudden we have absolutely dead zone, and nobody has any service. And so that's when I had to pull out my camera and start videoing.
Now, do you still have that video?
No, they took it. They took everything. They took everything. They took my wedding ring. They took my clothes. They took my glasses. They took everything. The world went upside down.
I've been trying to make.
We still have to fight the fight.
Yeah.
We still have to stand for the Constitution. We cannot let it just die. We cannot let LaVoy. You know, I'm a little nervous because I'm speaking out because I'm still not out of the woods yet.
Right.
Because they can put me right back in. I know that. But here's the deal. I have to get out, and I have to get the word out, and I have to get help, ASAP.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, those guys are going down. So I had to get out, and I have to get help. And I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Well,
we have to.
you know, I don't think.
I don't want to put anybody in danger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're talking big stuff here.
Yeah.
They will use everything in their power to wipe us out. We have to get the truth out because you know what? If we don't, we're hanging. We all stand together. We hang separately.
All right. Shawna, thanks for cluing me out. We've been praying for you and everybody else. And if you, I mean,
you know what? That's the only thing that's getting us through. I know, guys. I'm telling you.
How did Ryan?
All these guys are together, and I'm all by myself.
Yeah.
So they had to listen to me singing hymns, recording.
I got a question for you. Let me back up. I got a question for you. I got a question for you. Ryan Bundy, he got shot before or after you got to the roadblock?
No, after. During sometime, I think it was when we were all hunkered down.
Before? Did he get shot before or after they shot LaVoy?
I don't know. Because bullets flying everywhere. I don't know.
There were bullets. Did you see any other bullets coming into the vehicle?
Oh, we had to see the windows. They shot them all out. We had all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
They were coming from behind us. That's why God saved us.
Wow.
They were coming from behind us. They'd already blown out the windshield. I don't even know where they were standing, but they'd already blown out the windshield.
Wow.
And then they were hucking in the smoke bombs.
Do you have any idea? Can you even estimate how many rounds? Or we were talking. You said they've been.
I'm telling you, it was like riddling a tin can.
Wow.
And the lasers were everywhere. They were pointing the lasers. See, that's
right.
What's so freaky.
Yeah.
And I'm going down, and I'm pushing down on Ryan because I can see it on his head, and I can see it on her knee, and we're moving, so the lasers can't hit us. We can see the lasers.
Right. What a dramatic experience. Whoever lives through something like that?
Right. Only when God loves us, because we have to tell the world.
Yeah. That's
we have to take down. I'm telling you, they're thieves and liars and murderers.
Yeah. That's the only. I can't imagine any other way you made it through that alive except for the grace of God.
It was only, and we know that.
And bless.
We pray, we thank Him every day.
Yeah.
We pray.
I couldn't believe that.
We've just been praying together every day.
I couldn't.
Every time we see each other, it's a prayer, and it's us making us sing.
Wow. Oh, bless you, Shawna. All right. You got my number. Take care.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
See you later.
Bye.